no disrespect to any of the teams in Major League Soccer, but I truly believe that two of the better teams are in the MLS Cup. You know, there are many times when you get and I was on one of those teams that got the MLS Cup final in 1997. That we were a Cinderella story. There's 8 teams that made it to the playoffs in Colorado. We were the 8th team, and we wind up making it to the final. I just think it's two of the better teams in the league right now that are in the final, and it's good to see that, because I think it's saying a lot about the product that's on the field. The organizations are more mature at this time period than they were then, and it's really talking about the advancement of the game in this country. If you really look at it from that point of view, at least that's how I see it. But it's exciting to be a part of if you will, a more of a smaller market, and having the consistency that we've had over the years in the way that we've gone about building our team and the way these guys have committed themselves for excellence.
I believe that we've set a real philosophy for ourselves. We've set a real identity for ourselves, and that's all about the team. For us, we always say that the name on the front of the jersey is much more important than any name on the back. And we believe that if we can have a real team camaraderie, a real team spirit, if we can pull together and understand what our tactics are and who we are and how we're going to play game in and game out, that we can compete against the best. And I think that we've proven capable of doing that. The other thing I think that goes into it is consistency. And here you see two guys that have been with us since, Nick since 2007, right? And Kyle since the middle of 2007. So we've been together a long time. And I think that consistency in our league is one way to get to success. As I've seen the history of the league since 1996, for me, the best teams have always been the ones that have stayed together for the longest. Now, some of that is born about by success, because if you're not good enough, you won't be staying together very long. So I think it's a circle. But, you know, again, for me, it all just comes down to teamwork and consistency and leadership.
I think there's just a lot of people back in Utah that are rooting for us, and so they're expecting us to come home with a win. Is that pressure? I don't know. If it is, it's a good pressure. We want to be in these big games that bring that type of pressure, but you can't have any fear. We got to go out and just do what we've done to get here, and put it all on the line. And you know, if we go out and give everything we got, then that's good enough. And if it comes with a trophy, that's great. And if it doesn't, then we'll keep our heads high. But I mean, it's not a ton of pressure. Really, we're having fun, and we're just doing what we've been taught to do and what we enjoy doing. So that's what we'll do and lay it on the line.
Could you speak a little bit about the conditions that are expected on Saturday? It's supposed to be really cold, and I'm sure the temperature isn't that big a factor, but are you going to know until you know the condition of the pitch itself?
Well, I'll let the players talk about what it's like to play in that environment, but we just did it 2 weeks ago. It's a similar atmosphere. I think the only difficulty was in our last game, at least from my perspective, was there was a little miscommunication. We normally put water on the field before the game to kind of make sure that the ball can move a little more quickly, but I didn't want it to be put on there. It was a little communication. Someone put a little bit on there. In the second half, because the temperature dropped a little bit and it was at nighttime, there was a little bit of a frost that started to come onto the field. That's not going to happen this time around. We do have a sub-air system under the field, which will continue to sort of blow hot air underneath. So I think the more dangerous thing for the players is when the field freezes. I don't see that happening. So from that point of view, I don't think there's going to be any problems there. But I'll let them talk about the cold and the run.
Make it pretty simple. It was ridiculous cold.
He's a goalkeeper,
I'm a goalkeeper. I'm standing in there. My gloves has to be wet so they can catch the ball. And, you know, I'm not saying I had a tough time to enjoy it, but it was very, very cold. And, you know, I got some Scandinavian blood in me. But they have building indoors arena in Denmark so we can play indoor when it's very cold. So... you know, I prefer around 65 if I can order that on Saturday, please. You're running around, so
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
No issues here. No, like Peter said, the soil of the field was fine. It didn't freeze. It was nice and soft for us. The water issue with it freezing on the blades of grass was something we learned from, and it won't happen again. But the field was fine, no issues at all. And cold is cold. I mean, you're moving around; it's not a big deal.